Hey, okay, so I wanted to do something fun. So we'll see if this is fun. Um, like, oh, I don't even know. I think it was about a year and a half now. I've I did videos where I talked about my fan fiction. Yes, I wrote fan fiction. And I actually mentioned how my first fan fiction story was so bad it'll never see the light of day. Well, what I wanted to do actually, I brought it up. I'm not gonna flash it on the screen or anything, but I thought that I don't even know how many like chapters or parts to it has. Gosh, it's been so long since I've actually looked at it. Let's see. I didn't even mark it. It probably has about 4 or 5. Anyway, I thought what we would do is do the first one and go from there. And basically, just I don't remember the last time I looked at this, obviously, because I don't remember how many sections there are. Sections, chapters. I mean, when we would write these, well, me anyway, I shouldn't speak for everybody. Sometimes it would be part one, part two, sometimes it would be chapters. And like for me, it would depend on how long the section was. And I know now there's like rules. I don't know why you guys do that. The whole word count bullshit. No, it- the the story is done when you're done. It has nothing to do with word count. I hate that so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know why you do that to yourselves. Anyway, so I wanted to go through this. Again, I'm not gonna flash. Maybe I will. I we'll see how this goes. I may flash things on here, so I'm not going to read it word for word. But but anyway, so already off the bat, I can see. Gosh, I was obsessed with names for my characters, unless because this is again a Newsies fan fiction. I did write Star Wars fan fiction, and my Pirates of the Caribbean fan fiction is gone. I'm so sad about that. I tried thinking back to what it was. You know, I kind of remember the story. I've even looked on fanfiction.net because back in the day, fanfiction.net really didn't care how many accounts you made. So I made an account for like my Newsies and for my Star Wars and for my Pirates. And I I couldn't think of I tried thinking of every name under the sun that I may have used. I don't know. It might be up there. I don't know. And it may be gone forever as far as I know. But I really wish that I had backed it up in some way and I didn't. So, but my the names that I would choose, like because I am of Irish descent, I would choose Irish names. And like I have looked at a lot of my other ones, a lot of my other fan fiction, and Fiona was a name that I used a lot. And which can be Irish or Scottish. You hear it more in with Scotland, and because of course Brigadoon, which I enjoy Brigadoon, but the the one character in that, her name is Fiona, and I have no doubt that that's where I snagged it from because I wasn't as creative back then. And But in this story, I have Katrina. I have another story that yeah, it just, the, well, and the one that I'm doing right now, I kept the name, and it's Catherine. I'm pretty sure that I'm like 99.9 sure that this book that I'm working on, it started as fan fiction. And I've been going through and I'm like, it's got to be here somewhere. I'm just sure of it. So anyway, yeah, this one has Katrina, and then there was Catherine. There's Fiona. You see a pattern here. And so it's talking about how, oh man, I grew up in a small town, and my idea of a big city was what I saw in the movies. And this shows awoke the same way as she did every morning to the bustling sound of Manhattan waking up. Oh, this is hilarious. This is 2004 me as a writer. Oh man. And then I went further, and I'm explaining like the newsies selling their papers, horses pushing carts through the streets, and vendors pushing their merchandise, which my writing has improved from this. I promise. Again, this is 2004. Oh, holy shit. Oh, good Lord. Because, and because I took a lot of writing classes and seminars and that sort of thing. And I remember one class that I took in college, it was like you need to explain smells and sounds, and like walking into a room, and you have to explain to the reader everything. What does the room smell like? What is, are there any sounds in there? You know, like if you're writing a murder mystery, well, you got to explain all that. Explain everything. And so yeah, this is proof of my of my descriptive writing just not being there at all. But at this point, I did not know that. Just be very aware of please be kind. No, destroy it. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is funny. I mean, we have, that's the first sentence. Oh, good heavens. And what's funny is that then I went and talked about something else and then went right back to explaining what it was out in the streets. I did that so much. Like I would go to another idea and then go back to the, I don't know why people were so nice to me. Oh my gosh. Because I said something about dreamland and wanting to not get out of sleep, and you know, continue sleeping and all that, how Katrina wanted to continue sleeping and everything. And then I went right back into, you know, bread fresh out of the oven, you know, smelling bread fresh out of the oven, and fresh fruit from the vendors, and there was a light stench of fresh fish and everything. And So, so there's this sentence. I mean, it was just, it's a mess. This paragraph is so messed up. Oh, maybe I was dyslexic then and just didn't know it. Obviously, I didn't. Oh, man. And then she sees the servant girl, and the servant girl tells her about an a date that she has. Eh, And this is also where you find out how much I did not know about the history of, and but I would try really hard. Like it talks about how the servant had prepared a warm bath for her and everything. Like I knew a little bit about how it worked from reading books about like the Titanic and everything, and how you had to bring the hot kettles into the bath and everything. And there were um houses that had running water. Very I don't I but anyway, um she stepped into the lightly scented water. What the hell? Did they maybe they had perfumed water. That was more of a popular thing in ancient times, how they would perfume put perfume in the water and everything. And because soap really, well, it did not exist in ancient time. Perfume was, and scented oils were a big deal. But as for scented water, I don't know where okay. Apparently I picked that up somewhere and decided to use it. And that was the other problem that I had, is that I would come across something and decide that I had to use it in my writing. And it was like I want to sound like I'm really educated, and I really it's not working. I spelled a word wrong. I I didn't spell porcelain right. Uh, yeah, with a porcelain basin and pitcher, and which was often used. Yeah, this part makes sense. Once Katrina, see, the time is so weird because it says she soaked in the lightly scented water, and then the next sentence is the servant girl stepped in with a porcelain basin and pitcher, and then Katrina stepped out. So it was like for 5 minutes she was in the bath. Oh my gosh. And if she's going to go on a date, I would think that she would take her time to actually, but I didn't give her that option. I was terrible to my characters. Oh my gosh. But this whole thing with the basin and pitcher, you see quite often. In fact, in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, I don't remember where he's at, uh, but I remember the episode, and I'll try to find it and put it in the description box. But I remember because it has the gal from Swing Kids. She's the neighbor that, and but anyway, um, it shows the two girls are friends, and they're washing their hair with a yeah, it was a common thing. And of course, I remember when I had my long hair when I was in middle school and grade school, and oftentimes I would wash my hair in the sink. And I've told people that, and they're like, "What?" That's it's crazy. Yeah, it was. And but anyway, so yeah, this whole thing is so stepped out of the bath, wraps in a robe, started the task of washing her hair after cleaning the suds out of her employer's curls. The servant styled. Oh, I was trying to do like the Mary Pickford look. Styled her hair into tight curls while still damp. So obviously I knew nothing about how the sausage curl look worked. There you go. I wanted to use it, and and so but there you go again. So that's a paragraph where it should be a lot longer, and because, because if you were to just read it, you would think that it happened in the course of 3 minutes. And I'm sorry, but quickly styled her hair into tight curls. But yeah, it's obvious that she's trying to do like the Mary Pickford. I obviously had no clue. I didn't research it. I didn't look it up and or anything. And I've tried to style my since doing this. I think that was back in 2015, and I tried to style my hair. I still had the long hair, and because I officially cut my hair short like this in 2018. I was I was tired of washing split ends. But I remember doing the curls, and my hair was so thick that even with all the stuff to try and keep it there, I needed my friend and my best friend who had cemented the buns onto my back in high school. And that's what I needed. This, uh, yeah, and I overdid it with some descriptive words like she sat patiently, then popped out of her seat, and started to dress for the day. Now, I was very familiar with the fact that with Edwardian fashion, it took quite a bit of time to get dressed, and but here again, what was my obsession with semicolons? I don't even, you know, what is the actual purpose of a semicolon? Because I look back on a lot of my writings and I'm realizing just how often I use semicolons. And like, what's the reason for it? I've looked it up and it's like, I don't think anyone knows. I think they were just made up. Just to confuse people. So, but anyway, now there's this whole thing of her grabbing onto the bed. That whole thing like you see in Gone with the Wind and Titanic. Apparently I had to do it. And what? Okay, now I'm confused. So grabbing her bedpost as her servant tugged on her corset strings. And then the next sentence is adjusting her outfit. Did she, what? She's going out in her corset, her underwear? Oh, Katrina lives quite the rebellious life. Good heavens. I mean, she didn't even choose an outfit. 2004 me, what are you doing? Oh, good heavens. Okay. I mean, there was like no description as to the outfit that she picked. She didn't look for an outfit. It's just boom. She Oh, I'm upset. Why did when I say the descriptive writing was my Achilles heel, I this is proof. Okay. We're not even off the first page yet. Oh, good heavens. Okay, she looked herself over in the first length mirror, the full length mirror, sorry. Dyslexia. Okay, she stepped out of her room, walked down the grand staircase. Okay, I do have to say something. With researching for this book, I had to look up what does like architecture and interior design for like aristocrat housing and for um and just in New York. I kept it simple for myself. So just in New York, what these and they weren't as extravagant and marvelous as you would imagine. And so um they're actually I don't know. I guess I was kind of disappointed. There are a few that are big, but no, they're pretty simple. And it's funny though because you look at the architecture of the time, you know, especially interior design, and you can see the difference between uh like first class to middle class and and the difference in that and of course uh what would be considered third class or I don't like using those words, but for the sake of this, basically they were the ones that lived in simple apartments like what you would see in the Lewis Hine pictures and everything. So but yeah, when I using these type of you know, like walk down the grand staircase and all this stuff, it's like not really. I mean, like in this book I have a character in the book that I'm working on, I do have a character that to make a point of the kind of person that he is, I placed it I he has a big mansion and everything, but the mansions that there was like one person in particular in the Victorian era who had a large mansion next to Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie really didn't have a big, like you would think, and he was the richest man in the world. He was the Elon Musk of that time. And it was the industrial age. And so, and but yeah, there was one other person, and I can't remember what his name was. And I remember he was in competition with Andrew Carnegie. And he didn't like Andrew at all. But he he spent a lot of money to uh, for this building and everything. So, but anyway, um, yeah, there. I was like I said, I was kind of disappointed, but and actually surprised that uh, the housing wasn't as extravagant as we have come to believe. Oh goodness. Okay, so she's eating breakfast and she's telling her servant not to, I'll be out all day, all that. And oh, now comes the big question. Okay, what's the big question? Oh, her parents aren't. Where did her parents go? Okay, the question is, do you think he will ask you this time? So I'm guessing it is date. Oh, so basically, that is the wish of my parents, not myself or Jay. Huh. That's the name I decided for this guy? I don't think he's ready to settle down. Let's okay. So there's like this, I guess there's like this marriage thing on the table. And where'd her parents go? It's pretty sad when I don't even remember my own story. Oh gosh. And, by the way, the title of this uh, story is Tragedies in 1912. So I'm guessing that her parents are on the Titanic. Good Lord. Okay. Did I thought that the only one I did would be the widow. Oh, Lordy. I guess we'll find out. Okay. So this guy Jay. Oh, his full name is Jay Parker. I'm just gonna like I said, I would usually choose names that were, or maybe I didn't say that. I was busy on a tangent with the whole thing with my heritage and all that, with the K names and all that. And, but I would also choose names that centered around just my interests. I don't know of Jay being anything Parker is. I know where I got Parker from. In The Three Musketeers, the one that has Kiefer Sutherland and Chris O'Donnell in it, there's a character in there. There's like one scene in there uh, where Chris O'Donnell's character, he's a D'Artagnan, and he's been kidnapped by Lady De Winter, and she has that assistant named Parker. And while they're struggling for this knife, she screams Parker. And I know that because I was watching that movie a lot uh, when I was writing this movie, and then the assist or the servant girl's name is Elsa. Well, Elsa comes from Indiana Jones, and oh my gosh. I was so original. It's fantastic. Okay, so there's that whole marriage thing. And, for not liking Titanic, this sounds just like Titanic, doesn't it? I am so busted. Oh gosh. Yeah, I've only seen the movie twice. And But it seems like he is, what's that guy's, Cal? Is Jay really gonna turn into Cal? Oh, let's just call it right now. He's this is so terrible. Holy shit. I'm loving every second of this. Okay, so she finished her meal, uh, and Elsa leaves the room. What room are they even in? Did it even say? Yeah, she's in the dining room. Okay, so walked and into the dining room. I'm so glad that I oh, I'm glad I'm not 2004 me anymore. Again. See, that's okay. I've been spending a lot of time on this book, working on the descriptive writing, making sure everything is, all the research and all. It's not just the research, it's so that stuff like this is not. Oh my gosh. I am having fits with past me. It's ridiculous. Is- Okay, so she's left alone with her thoughts. Let's see. Yeah, her parents are away in Europe. Uh, Katrina received the responsibility of helping to keep her father's firm in order. That's not even, no, that would never happen. No, the daughter would never have that. That's like the most rare thing to ever happen. You know, a son, yes, but a daughter, no. What? Um, and then I mentioned the dad, stockbroker and Parker of this business located on Wall Street in Manhattan. This is a thing, okay? When I put this in here now, see with fan fiction, you can mention businesses and names of famous people and all that because you're not making any money from it. But as soon as you are published, you have to get permission and everything. I had to change around my book because originally in the original story it had um, famous people from the ship in it and everything. And when I first did that, I mean, I saw so many other people who were self-published who were doing it all the time. I had not a clue. I should have checked it, and I admit to that. But I just I just figured because of the fact that it was, and yeah, so that's a shame on me thing. So I wrote them out. They're not there anymore. Like, get it out. And but with this, I had it on fanfiction.net, and there was somebody who actually threatened to sue me, saying that her husband's family was associated, like her were descendants of this. And I was like, fuck off with that. You don't have proof. Well, and it's funny because I reported that person to fanfiction.net, and that person was banned because they were actually going around and uh, going after a lot of other people, accusing them of doing, yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, again, I admit that I should have checked all that before putting famous people in, but you need to check that before you, and but that that one isn't on anymore. And I don't know that I think I uh sold like less than 10 copies, so and I wasn't paid, so so there you go. So anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, though risk considering he knew his partners would not like having a female taking care of business matters. He asked his daughter to make sure nothing went. I mean, like there's no like I should have elaborated on that. Like because of what was going on during that time, quite honestly, the fact that she was put that Katrina was put in that in that what word am I trying to find? It could have destroyed the business. That's what I'm trying to say. Even in a fiction story. I mean, that's the thing about historical fiction. Yeah, you can use historical fiction, but try to stay a little bit accurate. Okay, don't want to keep him waiting. There's there's a grandfather clock. You know, I've always liked cuckoo clocks. I've always loved them. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was in uh Pinocchio. You know, he had all those clocks on the wall. Maybe that's what it was that got me interested in. But but yeah, and then we have Leavenworth here in Washington State, and in a lot of their shop, they have a clock shop, and you see the and we have family friends who live up there, and I used to go up with my family with my parents all the time. And when we would go into the shops, I loved seeing those. So she carefully stood and started for the front door of her Manhattan home. Elsa opened the door for her young aristocratic friend. What am I doing here? What? And then she once again carefully stepped down the steps of her. She's being very careful. um, I mean, you know, to be fair, there were friendships between uh, servants and their employers, employees and their employers. You know, and but you don't get that until there. It needs to be explained. My head's about to explode. Mingled into the bustling street. Well, where is her house? I mean, is it like in? See, again, this is one of those instances where everything I had ever seen of was from movies and TV. It's and then it wasn't until like 2009 that I lived in the street in the big city. I didn't live in the streets, no. But that's when I mean that was the thing is I remember keeping my window open and actually going to sleep to the sounds of like the insane sounds of the city. I mean, there were people yelling and screaming, the honking of the horns and everything. Oh gosh. So anyway, oh, somebody's following her. Yeah, okay, two powerful hands gently grabbed her. Well, that's I've seen that used enough times. Actually, no, that contradicts itself. You know, because I had to think about that for a second. Wait a minute. Um, like when you talk about scarred hands and talking about how they could, yeah, and then how gentle they actually are, or so when you see the physical and then how, yeah, something like that. But no, this is something. Yeah, I want to go back in time and slap myself silly. Okay, somebody is whispering to her to just keep walking. Okay, is she gonna be kidnapped? Okay, this person walked through the busy streets of New York, then he pushed her into the alley and pushed against a brick wall, glanced outside the alley as if searching for someone. He looked young enough to be in his 20s. Uh, so like all of a sudden I'm explaining this person with detail. The rest of it, like, oh, I didn't even explain the dress that she's wearing. It was like there's like that whole chunk that still bothers me. Um, so I think this is Jack Kelly. Okay, now she's upset. What is this all about? Someone's following you, and I get the feeling he's still watching somewhere. Why would, okay, why would he care if someone's, okay. First thought was, yeah, it could be a news reporter. Why does he care? Constant flash bulbs every time she turned around. Yeah. What the hell, Jack? What's the matter with you? Oh, yeah. How old would he be at this point? Let's see. Because he said he was like 18. I don't know. I can't do math. Yeah. Why are you so interested? What does it matter to you? Yeah. Okay. She pushed him away. And what? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so she pushed him away and rolled her eyes. Well, thank you anyway, but I've had enough for one day. She leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek before stepping out of the alley and continuing to track towards Central Park. Why would she do that? That doesn't make any sense. And, quite technically, honestly, she's walking around in her underwear because, because she, we don't know what her dress looks like. And that's why the reporter is following her. Oh, I love it. Why would, oh gosh. How old is she? Did I ever, I never saw that. Okay. Standing at the entrance of the park. Entrance, is there an entrance to I've never been to Central Park. When I was in New York, it was like overnight. I get to go across the Brooklyn Bridge quickly. It was like, um, no, it was not a good moment for me. It was like I was escaping something, and a friend of mine met me at the bus depot, and yeah, so I didn't get to actually uh, do the whole touristy thing. I would like to go back and actually do all the fun stuff, but anyway, so okay, there's a guy dressed in an expensive suit, his hair slicked back with the chain of his pocket watch. Well, shoot, he's dressed nice, and he's got the look of what you would in 1912. And trust me, I would know. I've seen so many. Um, I'd probably add an expensive Italian or like an Italian suit or something, more like what they would wear back then. I have looked at so many of those Sears and Roebuck hats. Oh my goodness gracious. Looking at the time again, he glanced up and smiled when he saw. Okay. Oh, she lied to him. Oh, smooth. Okay. He says, because she says she woke up late, and he says, I would wait an eternity to see. This is so sappy. I can't believe I wrote. Oh, this is probably when I was slowly shifting out of, I mean, I don't, I mean, like, there are some romance that I like, but like, there are others that I just, oh, people are like, oh my gosh, you need to see this. And I'm like, no, I don't. The Princess Bride is like, yes. But there are others where it's like, you're kidding, right? Look at me. Oh, I would wait an eternity to see you as beautiful as you are now. Set that on fire. Oh, geez. And then it just goes on, they're figuring out whether, yeah, he's gonna take her to a magic show. Okay, that I wrote this. This is what. Oh, and I'm admitting to it. That's what's even more funny. Oh, well, this is the one problem though. I mean, they wouldn't call themselves by first name. I have them where she's calling him by first name. She's calling. I mean, he's actually, instead of Katrina, he's calling her Katie, and that's not what they would do. She would still be calling him Mr. Parker, and he would call her Miss Cummings, which is her last name. And so, I mean, in the privacy of their own home, they would probably call each other by first name, but in public, it would be, okay, she loves going to the theater, so he knows how to play the game. Oh my gosh. Geez, what? We're on page 3, and I'm already tired of Katrina. She's romping around in her underwear because, again, I'm still on that. There was no description of her actually. I mean, it went from pulling the corsets, that whole thing, and then all of a sudden she is examining herself. So is she examining the corset? What's going on? Context, people, context, and I need it from my past self. I'm not getting it. Okay. And nobody is nobody is saying anything about the fact that she's in her undergarments. It's supposed to be normal for her. Oh, he wouldn't take her hand, he'd offer his arm. So that's another problem there. She's now thinking about the young man she encountered earlier. Looked familiar. She couldn't remember from where. Uh, Proved him to be one of the sweatshop kids. Seriously, how old would he be? Okay, let's do this because my brain is too dumb to. It died. It's too late at night. Okay, let's do this. And then okay. If he's I can't do it. So is he 23 around that? Yeah, he would be 23 around that time. I do remember, okay, something I do remember when I wrote this is there were people on the mailing list, and one of their biggest complaints is that the Newsies wouldn't be selling anymore. They would have moved on and everything. And I love that now I can, I could say no, because I did colorize a picture. It's a Lewis Hine picture, and it's of this gentleman. He's an older gentleman, and he's selling like at the dock or something. And yeah, he's got a stack of papers and all that. So yeah, there were older people who were selling, and not just here in America. There were people in Europe who were selling as well. And I've also found pictures of uh, people, uh, newsies, uh, in Russia. Yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know where they get the idea that as soon as you turn 20, you stop. Where are the age limits coming from? Stop doing that. Quit it. Let's see. Okay, so she was thinking about that and switch up kids. Yeah, why would he be interested in her? Why did I write this crap? Okay. They came to the theater. Oh, that's the greatest thing in literature ever written. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm already not liking Katrina because they're in there and the show is going. This magic show is going, and she is still going back to this stranger, this guy who's obviously Jack. She tried to block him out of her mind, and his and she couldn't stop thinking of him. And Jay even asked if she wanted to leave, and she said no. She lied to him again. And, he's concerned. He's asking if she's fine. Let's go for a walk, fresh air. We'll Oh, man. Does anybody else have a problem with this character already? I mean, we barely know Jay Parker, and I like him. I wrote him and I forgot him. Oh my gosh. I do. She's. I'll let go of the underwear thing, but it is funny to me that I forgot that whole thing. I didn't even bother with it. And then, she arrives late, which, understandable because of the whole thing in the alley. She couldn't even be honest with him about that. So she's just she's lying to him every 5 minutes. Okay, so they go to the park, and like he knows something's wrong. And oh, I wrote a bitchy character. Oh, he's had enough. Okay. They sit down on a bench. Something's wrong, and I want to know what it is. This isn't like you to keep things from me. Oh, you tell him. Oh, she was afraid he would ask, well, yeah, would you be so secretive? I love that I am writing obvious statements in this. It's like Jay's sitting her down on a bench and treating her like a child, basically saying, I know something is wrong because you're like, trying to hide something from me now. I want to know what's going on. And the next thing is she was afraid he would ask that. She didn't want to tell him the truth. He would jump to conclusion. You don't know that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm already on on Jay Parker's side. Okay, like I said, I don't remember this story. I don't remember the last time I read it or anything. I'm already on Jay's side because Katrina's pissing me off. Okay. Like, I don't even know. I didn't see how old she was. Is she like a teenager? She's acting like one, a very naive teenager or something. And but yeah, she says that she can keep up with her father's part in the firm. So she lied to him again. Don't believe her. Oh, okay, so he breathes a sigh of relief. And so did she because he bought the store. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, she hated to lie, but she thought it best that he didn't know about the young man. So, like, is Jay abusive? I mean, it, she thinks that he's going to jump to conclusions. How long have they known each other? See, like, there's no backstory. There's no full backstory here, and oh, Again, I said that I had a problem with, uh oh my gosh, descriptive writing, man, it's important. And this is proof. Oh, good heavens. And some more sappiness. They walked for hours, this time not in silence. Oh, for a second there, I thought it said, and it continued in silence. Like, why? Oh, yeah, more sappiness. Okay. And this is page 4. I mean, there's a lot of smiling going on. Jeez, that was like the word of the day, wasn't it? Okay. Okay, so like the idea of a proposal has come up. She says to wait until her parents return. He basically is like he knew her parents would never forgive him if he asked her to marry him while they were away. Hold that thought until they return. I, oh my gosh. Smiling and laughing and okay, so they're going to go out to dinner. Okay. So he's trying to talk to her about the magic show over dinner, and she says that she didn't really watch it, and oh, more sappiness. Oh my gosh. Oh, lines like this, and you didn't waste my money. Being with you is always worth more than I own. Ugh. I wrote that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can see myself turning red, and it's like, because I can't believe I wrote such crap. Okay. I mean, there's some things in this that are, you know, the writing isn't terrible. It could be a little bit better worded, a little bit better phrased. Just like when they're exiting the restaurant, it says the night lights of New York were ablaze. Well, yeah, you could work on that a little bit more. And there needs to be a paragraph here, just little things like that. And of course, I think that was the program I was using at the time. That program, man, I remember because again, this was 2004, and I remember there were so many times where I would save it, and I had to go through because there were times where I would have done a new paragraph, and it was right back. I mean, it was sometimes it was just one big long paragraph, and I'd have to go back, and it was so frustrating. I don't remember what the program was, so don't even ask me, but it was, um ugh. And there were times where I spent half the night just working on that, and then once I actually got the chance to write, I was so exhausted. So, okay, so he buys a newspaper, and it reminds her of the guy, and, now she wants to go, "Oh, take me home, I don't feel well." Yeah, he's concerned for her, again, I'm this character Katrina, what I I mean, like I've written quite a few. I actually have a character notebook, and I've written some pretty horrible characters. This one is just plain bitchy, man. And so Jay voices his concern, and then he leaves for the night. And what now? Well, somewhere along the line, the servant girl had a name change. I'm wondering how when that happened. Um, yeah, now it's Leia. Oh, good heavens. I can't, yeah. Of course, 2004, yeah, I was, that's when my Bunhead persona really took off online. And so, yeah, that would make perfect sense why it would be Leia. But why was I changing it to Elsa? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Okay, asking if she had a good time. Okay, now she wants to talk about what happened. Help me undress while I tell you about the events of today. Leia hung Katie's dress over her arm and untied her corset as the younger was. I mean, I don't. She never put the dress on earlier. Man, when I say that I can't emphasize it enough. When I say that descriptive writing is my, it was really bad back then. This is proof. I mean, oh my gosh. Uh, there's nothing to indicate that she was removing the dress. Earlier, there was nothing to indicate she had put on a dress. Oh lordy, this is this is funny. Um, okay, so what the, I don't understand why I feel this way. We only met for oh jeez. This does sound like Titanic, doesn't it? That pisses me off. You can make fun of me all you those of you that are hardcore Titanic fans, I give you permission to come. 'Cause oh my gosh. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure that I wrote this in 2004. That would have been 2 years after the 90th anniversary of, yeah. This is that's hysterical. I mean, and like I said, I would like the names, obviously Leia, Elsa, like I talked about with Parker. No, it was not from the Parker's restaurant. I've never been there, but Jay, I don't know where I would have grabbed that from. I don't know anybody named Jay. Because I have grabbed friends' names and used those and everything. And But anyway, it is every girl's dream to be saved by a handsome young man who she is forbidden to speak. She wasn't saved. Like nothing happened. My characters are dumb. This is this is why I put it in. This is obvious why I put it in to never see the light of day. Because it's yeah, and at some point I stopped um writing out the name Katrina and just put Katie. I so sometimes and now I'm writing Katrina again. So sometimes you see Katrina and sometimes you put Kate. Why would don't ever do that unless the character. So like when earlier when Jay called her Katie. Yeah, that's when you don't write. But when you're describing the character and what they're doing, so when you say like Katrina walked down the stairs, you say Katrina walked down the stairs. You don't. You don't change it to Katie. That confuses the reader. Oh, good heavens. I remember him from somewhere. Can't think of where. Oh man. Yeah, unless he expected a reward for saving you. They don't care for people in hopes of getting. Okay. They only care for people in hopes of saving. Yeah. They want money. And yeah, I agree with Leia. Leia slash Elsa. Why did I change the name? Well, I really, why would I change her name? I don't know. I'm wondering if I had the idea that I was going to actually fix this story and publish it. And so I was starting to go through and I decided Leia just was, yeah. I wonder if that's what happened. And I don't know, maybe. And then, yeah, that's the only one I can think. Okay. Uh, I do remember it in a different way though. I think I did fix it a little bit because when they're in the alley, I remember because there's this point here where she asks where Leia, the servant, asks why did you kiss him? And I suddenly remember that originally in the alley for some reason Katrina decided that if it was a reporter, she was going to give him a story to write about. So she like throws her arms around his neck and just full blown kisses him on the lips. And it seems like she yells something too. Yeah, I think I have it printed out and down here. I'll have to find it. But it just seems like it was something to that. So obviously I fixed it a little bit. And but I remember that she she made a big scene in the alley and but I rewrote that. So I have a feeling that what I was doing was I was fixing it up. And that's why there's the name change on um, on the servant girl. So, but okay, so Katrina slipped into bed, uh, and she doesn't really know why she, kissed him, either whichever way it was. And then she settled in. Her last thoughts were of the sweatshop kid. Okay, so it actually cut out for some reason. So, which it was actually perfect timing because uh, we ended at Katrina going to bed, and of course her last thoughts were of, I checked the video and it stopped right at that moment, going to bed. Last thoughts were of Jack Kelly. But which it was also perfect timing because my tea had gone cold, and so now I've got I've got water, which I have had people ask why I'm drinking more water. And after the episode that happened in January, I've been more careful. I've been trying to cut back on the soda that I drink, and I've been very good. I only drink one one glass of soda now, and and I've been drinking a lot more water lately, so that's why. So anyway, back to this, and I do thank you for for being concerned. And so anyway, we're not done yet. No, I don't know how much more we have, but no, we're on day 2. And she's not her usual self. She's not even out of bed. Not like the first day where she got out and looked out the window and everything. And Leia's telling her to get out of bed. She slowly does. She bathes, gets dressed. In one sentence, she does all that. And the last one, it was like 2 pages. I was afraid for, let's see. Leia knew she was thinking of the young man from the day before and was afraid because there could be trouble. Oh, 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 okay. Oh, if Katrina fell in love with a sweatshop kid, there could be trouble. Like, she may never see the guy again. I'm just gonna say I was not that bright. The smartness was hadn't set in yet, apparently. God, what the hell? Okay. She walked in the dining room. So far we've only met uh Leia. You would think that Leia slash Elsa. You would think that if this was like an aristocrat home, there would be more servants running around. We only see, apparently not. Uh, she slowly, okay. So Katrina's slowly eating. Well, I slowly eat in the morning. I'm still trying to wake up. I mean, it's almost like I was trying to make her dramatic or something. Okay, went into the den and looked out the window. Again, okay. So this particular part, you also have to understand that again, this is somebody who lives in a small town trying to portray, let's see, and I was 22 at this point, trying to describe big city. And all I ever knew was what I had seen in the movies and on TV shows. And after living in a big city, this is annoying me. Uh, watched as people bought from merchants or hurried to a destination only they knew. Now, I don't know that merchant is the right word. Maybe. I would think more vendor would be the right word, but I shouldn't really nitpick at that one. I don't like what I did here. She also saw the newsboys ... and then all of a sudden she's yelling for Leia. Yeah, that's a big problem. I have an eyelash in my eye right now, and it's so just bear with me here. Okay. I don't even describe the den. That's bothering me too. I don't describe what the dining room looks like. I don't describe what any of these. I don't even describe what her bedroom looks like. And this is annoying me because in the book that I'm working on right now, I describe every room. I actually I looked at what design looked like for um, the time period, the Art Nouveau furniture and everything. I never thought that I would be looking up stuff like this, and just the types of paintings that people had in there, not just like portraits, because that wasn't the only thing that they had. It seems like every time you look at uh, photographs, they always had their paintings of portraits and all that. But just so okay, so she's pointing to someone selling newspapers and says that that's the guy I told you about. Bring him to me at, well, oh my gosh. I really did write a bitchy character. And I still don't know how old she is. Okay. Leia is so done with it. She heaved a sigh and walked out. Okay, and now they're watching Katrina. I'm going back and forth between Katrina and Katie, which is bugging me. Uh, okay, so outside, the servant is talking to this guy, which I think we established that he's 23, around that age. Yeah, I guess he's still a youth. Because by the time you're 25, 26 years old, you're not really a youth anymore. Well, maybe you still are. Let's see. The front door closes. The doors to the den crack open to reveal. When did she close the door? The, there was never any. There was never any indication that the den doors were closed. Okay. I love that like the past me has this mentality of, well, you're all just gonna have to read my mind because this is it's there. You just okay, so okay, so obviously Jack comes in and looks at this richly decorated. That's my descriptive writing. Sees Katrina and steps back. Okay, one thing. This is one thing I remember about the mailing list, and because we would all do it when we would write our fan fiction. It had like the New York accent, like how they talked in the movie. All of us did it. All of us. And and so when I'm reading a lot of these, I try to get through the accent, the terrible accent that we use. It's not even an accent. It's just it's so bad. And like I have one of my characters that he has the New York accent and trying to show that. I also have a character who he is very Irish, trying to show that. Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to write out accents, there are people who will say, don't do that. Just say that they have a like a thick Irish accent. Well, at least show a little bit of it. You know, try to give a little bit of an idea. I mean, people know the New York accent or the very Brooklyn accent, you know, that sort of thing. But at least give kind of an idea of what it is in your writing. Don't just say, yeah, thick Irish accent, because there are people who don't know what that is. So, and yeah, is there a reason why you asked me to come here? And it's going to be throughout all of this. It's like a code. Oh man. And I did it in almost every one of my stories. We all did it. We all of us did. Oh man. Okay. So she's apologizing for her behavior the day before, which, okay. So, like I said before, it doesn't seem like much. You know, she kisses him on the cheek and walks away. But, you know, so she shouldn't really be apologizing. You know, she kind of is snippy with him and leaves. And but when you actually realize that I rewrote it and there was something a little more dramatic to it. Yeah, it says here the he's showing her one of his newspapers. On the front page was a picture of her kissing the newsboy in the alley. So obviously I didn't get very far in trying to work on this. And so now he's trying to leave, and he's says things like, if you don't mind, I have to sell these papers. Some of us don't have the money you own. Which is, I mean, you know, it could have been a better insult if it had been polished up a little bit better. You know, like I said before, I mean, there are some parts in this that aren't bad. It just needed to be worked on a little bit more, such as that insult could have been it yeah, and, she's asking his name. We all knew it was, Ja it's the other thing, yeah, my stuff was so predictable when I was writing fan fiction. Not so much the Pirates of the Caribbean, and, again, I wish I still had it, but I don't anymore. Um, ah, man, this eyelash. I thought it went away, but apparently it did not. And it's hit or miss with the Star Wars that I wrote. I was very hesitant to write the Star Wars because you always have those people that get so technical and so scientific with everything. But oh man, with my Newsies fan fiction, it was so incredibly predictable. Like, why did people read this crap? It was bad, man. I mean, I was reading some of the sometimes I read the other stuff that isn't as bad as this. This one is just terrible. And but I will read some of the other stuff and yeah, it can be corny, it can be as sappy as ever, but it's not like, oh, and everything, but this is just good lord. And I remember defending it. I needed to be put away because I'm sure everybody else was like, "Okay, just leave her, just she's having a moment. She's she's not well." Oh, good heavens. Okay. So, yeah, Jack is, Jack is being kind of an ass right now. He's saying things like, aristocrats are all the same, using lower class to get in the news, which, at that time, but back then, I really didn't know about the Newsies being used for like the shows. Like I don't know, I didn't know to the extent. Let's just say that. Okay, she circled Jack and said suddenly, "Now I remember where I saw you. You were the leader of the strike 13 years ago. I was only 6 years old." So she's a teenager? Okay. Let's see. So she would be I can't do the math. My brain is so it's it's almost 1:30 in the morning. So let's do this. Everybody else who's math whizzes are like, "Oh my gosh." Okay, so she would be 19. So there's like a 3-year age difference or 4 years, I guess. 4-year age difference. 4 or 5-year age difference. Around that. So yeah, okay, so we finally have that's probably at the point where I was like, I haven't established an age for her. Like I have to do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so her dad said that they didn't have a chance. Okay. Jack just wants to leave. Let him leave. And now she She wants to take him out to dinner to make up for the fact that she embarrassed him. That's a good question. He asked her, what about her boyfriend? And she answers with, he doesn't have to know. Are you serious? So she's not only bitchy, but a dumbass. Man. I really know how to write them, don't I? I don't like my own character that I wrote in 2004. Like I feel bad for Jay, and I quite honestly I feel sorry for Jack because he just wants to leave. I poor guy. Uh, Good heavens. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so she's calling this guy James her father's manservant. Wouldn't the manservant be with her dad? Didn't think that one through, did I? What? Well, at least we see another servant, I guess. No, what's going on? Oh, I think the funniest part is he was in the room while I was. No, I can't. No, it's never Pooh's fault. I just find it funny. Anyway, I think I was still in this room. I don't think I had moved into the other room yet. Um, anyway, if that were true, then it wasn't 2004. Maybe it was 2002. Hmm. Yeah, well, let me see something here really quick. Does it say? No, it doesn't. I was looking to see what it says the last time. Anyway, so the newer version. Anyway, it said 2013, and I know that's not true. Okay, so they're gonna get Jack all ready for a dinner at an expensive restaurant. Okay, so now they're gonna get Katrina all ready for this. Okay, and Katrina wants to look her best. She's looking through her collection of gowns. She picked out a dress that she had never worn before. I wonder why I never wore this dress. I think your father just liked the fact that it exposed your shoulders. Oh man. What little I knew of the time. That's, because really exposed shoulders weren't that big of a deal. And especially in 1912, because I have seen even in Victorian, during like at the turn of the century, and it was so late Victorian, there are a lot of women who have their shoulders like, their arms the whole attitude of that you couldn't have your arms exposed and all that stuff. I think that's just something that someone made up. Good heavens. Okay. So, geez, that's one long sentence, just a complete run-on sentence about how she slipped into a dress and got ready for the night. And now she's putting on makeup. And now she's getting her hair done. Okay, so twisted and divided till the result was a braid twisted around and held tight with diamond and sapphire barrettes, which quite honestly, for that time, it would have been like loose. You've seen the hairstyle for that time. There was a bun, but it kind of poofed out. Yeah. I tried that one time. My hair just was not happening. Oh, the joys of having thick hair. It's so annoying. And plus also during that time uh was the Grecian fashion. And so there were a lot of women who were, I mean, like even the hair accessories and everything. I see a lot of women, again, when I'm searching for pictures to restore and colorize, there are a lot of women who have like the hair accessory. There was one that I did a while back and it looked like a net and it was holding her hair up in the back. And I mean, all the different hair accessories. And they were obvious Greek or Roman fashion. They were putting their hair up in styles like the ancient Romans and ancient Greeks. So so no, that's not correct. Yeah, there was a revival back then. I don't believe that it took them that long to get ready. Well, who knows? I mean, because the time that I put on this would have been like 3.5 hours for her to get ready. Who knows? Maybe it did take that long. I've known women now who take a really long time. Yeah, all I do is swoop my eyeliner and that's it. My family tries to say that I'm the longest, and it's like, nah, my brother takes a long time. Yeah. Of course, I think what it is that he waits until the exact moment. We set a time and he walks in right then. So, and I don't explain the painting that Jack was looking at all in the den. Was he looking at like a painting of fox hunting? Was he looking at a forest painting? There's a lot of painting because I on Instagram I follow the accounts that show paintings of um like abandoned architecture that are like ancient architecture and all of that, or like the big architect. And so it'll be like for instance, like the side of a lake, and there's like bushes growing everywhere and all this, and then all of a sudden you realize that there's chunks of architecture and everything, like the side of a castle or something. And those were very popular during the late 1800s, and well, during the 1800s and everything. And so that and ships. Yeah. So it's funny the things that you realize were popular during certain times with art. So, oh geez. Okay. Now his eyes moved up and down. Katrina drinking in her beauty. What was I doing with this thing? I've never seen anything. So he was insulting her 1 minute, and then he sees her in a dress and all made up, and now he thinks she's absolutely that's all it. This has Titanic written all over it, and I hate it. Again, those of you that love Titanic, you can come after me. I give you full permission. What the hell? Okay. So so they're gonna go out to dinner. He asks, okay, so as they left together, he's asking, why do you walk everywhere you go? And her answer is, I'm not like other aristocrats. What the hell? And then he says, I thought maybe it was because you want to show off your money. And that struck a nerve. Oh. The other thing that we did, oh, that all of us are guilty of on the mailing list is when we would write, there was so often where we would incorporate certain things from the movie, like we would always mention Tibby's Diner, um, which was only in like two scenes from the movie. I mean, it was part of King of New York, and there was like one other scene. and 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 the lodging house, there's like two scenes from that, and yeah, there were so many different parts. I think, like when I was on the mailing list, I remember that we talked a lot about the sick room. The lodging house had a sick room, so if one of the newsies was sick, they were isolated in the sick room until they got better. And yeah, we that was something that we came up with, and that was just a thing. And a lot of us had that in our stories. And so I don't know if that was an actual thing in the lodging house, in the lodging houses. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me that it will be. And it's I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I mean, you got to isolate the sick, especially during that pandemic during 1918. But I mean, so yeah, there were little things from the movie that we would incorporate, and so So, and the reason I mention it is because she mentions Tibby's here, and okay, so she she asks him why that whole incident with the alley, and he says someone's been following you for the past week, and I got the guts to do something. But she didn't do anything, really. I mean, you told her. I would think that he would go after the guy that was following her instead of. Boy, I really thought this one through, didn't I? Ah, okay. Okay, do you know who it is? And he answers, no. Why did you want to help me? I have my reasons. What are they? See, and that's another inconsistency because he was upset with her for because the aristocrats use people of lower class, and now he's making this whole thing, you're all alone in that big house, anyone could come in and attack you. Why is he so concerned? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, here needs another paragraph, and again, I think it's the program I used. It didn't. um how did you know I was alone? he's a he's a paper boy. He would, oh geez. I think part of this is, I remember one of the classes I took, you know, having to establish different parts, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I took a class and we were told that you need to establish um, elements. If you mention an element, you need to make sure that it's explained. And I think that's what I'm trying to do in a lot of these. Instead of explaining it right away, but not everything needs to explain. Like right here, I'm trying to explain how it's like the whole thing with Jack. It's like Jack needs to know that the whole thing with her dad and her mom being in Europe, it's like that's not needed. That no. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then they talk about the uh the strike 13 years earlier when she was only 6 years old. Um, and she asked why he decided to still be a newsie. He says most of the other guys are still newsies too. And she then asks, was there a girl? And I spelled Sarah wrong. Oh, I do know why though. I have a cousin whose name is Sarah, and I spelled it the way she spells it instead of how it is. So I get a pass on that one. But actually this one, you know, because like when it comes to the character Sarah, the movie is about the strike. You're not going to get big old character development for Sarah. as much as I would have liked to see more of Sarah, this wasn't going to happen, you know? And, but like with here, I put that they were together for 2 years, and then she met a millionaire from Vermont. Hold up. Okay. She met a millionaire from Vermont, got married, and left me. So it sounds like they were. Wait a minute. um, should have checked that. As Meta says, hanky panky going on there. I whoa now. Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, helps to, to oh golly. That was a surprise. That's funny. Whoa now. So, but I remember, because the whole thing with Sarah, I just remember there were quite a few stories that I wrote that weren't nice to Sarah. I did a story, I actually, and it was a Halloween prank. I think that's about as terrible as I ever was to Sarah, except apparently here I was, she, I was completely unexpected. Okay, so now they're gonna walk home, and she says that her parents are coming back on the Titanic, and he's pretty impressed. And oh geez, and now Jack wants to see her again. And she says, I don't think so. I don't like 2000. Might have been 2002 me. I may have written this when it was the 90th anniversary. And now that I think about it, I think I was writing it when I was still in this room. Because I lived in this room when I was still in high school. And it seems like my parents were remodeling the apartment off of the garage, and I was in that room uh, when I was in college, but I think it was the last year of college. So, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know. But anyway, so now Jack becomes extremely forward and he kisses her. I'm not even going to say what he's that's that's fucking dumb. Okay, so then she goes into the house. And yes, and she walked up the staircase, entered her room, closing the door behind her. That's like one sentence. Actually, it's two sentences. Well, then Jack started to go back to why does he still live in the lodging house? Like, I would think that at this point he would be living somewhere else, being in his 20s. Again, I mean, when it's historical fiction, yeah, it's fiction and everything, but have some kind of, I don't know, the smartness hadn't kicked in yet. Okay, so he's starting to head back, and then there was a shadow enter through a side window. He entered the same window. Uh, he didn't know where he was because the lights were out. How long were they gone? Like, I would think that the lights would be on. I don't know. Okay, so he's in the kitchen, then the dining room, ran into the staircase, walked up the stairs, saw a light in the closed door, and then listened. How much do you want to bet that it's Katrina's room? I'm getting so irritated, man. And how did, okay, man, I really didn't understand logic here. The the shadow the shadowy figure goes in. He follows. If it were like 2 minutes, he could have at least heard the person and follow. There's just what? Okay, so now Katrina, it goes back to Katrina, and I know where I got the name Katrina. It suddenly dawned on me. It had nothing to do with all the yeah, because I was obsessed with names that began with K, but uh it's from um Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Katrina Van Tassel. Because of course. Anyway, back to this. So she's removing her earrings and she let her hair down and everything when she saw the figure in the mirror. Would she have heard a door close? This character's a total dumbass. Uh, so she looked at and asked, "Who are you?" So you're not going to defend yourself? Oh, geez, I'm getting irritated here. Figure lunged at her, pinned her to the bed. She struggled. There was no way. Oh, geez, Jack Kelly's going to save the day. Okay, she backed away to the door, paralyzed with fear. The two men fought until Jack swung around and punched the figure hard in the face, knocking him out cold. That, okay. I mean, I've heard of one punch killing a man, so I suppose. Since writing this, I have written better fight scenes. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm irritated with this. I have written out there was one that I did years ago, and I actually there was it was a knife fight, and it actually I described how the knife tore flesh off of and tendons and everything and all that because I I researched the crap out of how it would be like to it's not pretty. And but that's what I did. Eh, and, so now they're running out of the house. She's still in her evening clothes. Now she's hugging him. Yeah, she's in shock. And they're at the lodging house. You could hear laughter and all this stuff. I have a problem with them being at the lodging house because some of them are nearing 30, wouldn't they? Yeah, they're playing cards and standing around the registration desk talking to an elderly man, and they stop when they see him. Okay, so who are they talking to? Mush, Racetrack, Snotty, and Pie Eater, and then Clapman. And this is what really, really bugs me is that no matter what, there were so many times in my fan fiction that I would never, never, ever describe the Newsies. I mean, the fact that I described Jack is a shock. And there were other times where I would just pick a name at random. It was like I need a newsie for this, so I'm just gonna I would just pick. Going back and reading my old my old fan fiction, and it's like, yeah, it's obvious that I just oh jeez. Oh yeah, we also have to remember that Jack is still dressed in that suit. Okay, so he introduces Katrina, and then Klotman says she can't stay, and which, makes sense because it's a newsboy lodging house, not. And she was just attacked. They try to find suggestions. Um, then one of them protested, saying Meta's place isn't for an aristocrat. Race says neither is next to a newsie. And now Jack is all upset. He's getting all pissy about it. So now Klotman is letting her stay. Two of them are leaving to go back to the house so they can let the servant girl know whatever her name is. Maybe she's a spy. We don't know because spies usually have to change their name. Okay. Well, Snotty's being nice. It's Snoddy, by the way. But I would think that Jack would be the one to show her where the vacant room is. Jack is being reprimanded by Klotman, which, yeah, he should be. Oh, gee. So because she said she wasn't like other aristocrats, he's just going along with that. Okay, Katie has feelings for the lower class. What? Where did that come from? I This is so painful. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one's good. This is a good one. Okay, after he says that terrible, awful line, and she's practically engaged to Jay Parker, interrupted Klopman. You should read the papers you sell sometime. See, sometimes that's the thing is in in the middle of all this sappiness and these horrible lines and all this, there are some actually pretty good. Yeah, and I gave it to Klopman. I like Klopman. He just, yes, listen to the man. Oh, so yeah, they're having a problem with her staying there. They don't like that aristocrat is there. And the two newsies that left come back and said that the policemen were all over the place. How's that possible? When it happened in a room, it's not like it happened at the front of the place. And if all the lights were turned off, it's not like lights came on. Well, maybe. See, there's no explanation. Oh, all right. So pretty much people, they're deciding that they'll check and see if things are okay at the coming house the next day, and they're gonna turn in and go to sleep. They're being kind of insulting to Katrina. They're saying some pretty awful things about Katrina and everything. And and all of that. So and Snotty seems to have attached himself to her, and so but that is part one. We made it, guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't know how many are, I think it's five or six. Um, but I figure, why not? I don't remember the last time I looked at this thing. So we'll suffer together. I already don't like Katrina. And there's so many inconsistencies just in that first section. And just I will never let go of the fact that it never explained her actually putting on a dress or anything. She's just romping around in the in her undergarments. And people are fine with this. Like, oh, there she goes again. Can't do anything about it. Yeah, I think at some point or another, I had decided that I wanted to uh, fix this story. Because again, I am 99.9% sure that the story that I'm working on now, that I'm doing the final, was a fan fiction story. You wouldn't know that by now that I have I've worked so hard to make sure that it doesn't read as a fan novel, and, but I'm pretty sure that it was, and, you know what? I'll try and find it, and we could after I release the book, I will do a about a month after the book is released, I will do a read through just like this. But, I think that that's actually what happened, and that's why the servant girl has 2 names, and that's why yeah, the whole thing with the alley, the whole scene in the alley has changed because I clearly remember that there was, eh, where she caused a scene with him, and, so but that was part 1 of this abomination. And when I say that my Achilles heel was descriptive writing, I hope this proves that I wasn't kidding. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to expect, but already I like Jay. I like Jay Parker, and, and Jack goes back and forth. It's like one minute I like him, and another minute it's like, "Really, dude? What's wrong with you?" I don't know what his personality is, and like I said, I I I remember that there were a lot of times where I would just pluck the names and just use them in my stories, and I hardly ever described I mean, the fact that I described Jack in this one is a shock. So but anyway, so this was part 1. Can't wait for part 2.